In this lecture, we will discuss the active voice and passive voice. The active voice and passive voice are two different ways of structuring sentences in English. They serve different purposes and are used depending on what you want to emphasize in a sentence. Let's start the detailed explanation of the active and passive voices. Active voice and passive voice. On the one hand, in active voice, the subject performs the action. In active voice sentences, the subject of the sentence performs the action or the verb. This makes the subject the doer of the action. Sentence structure. The structure of an active sentence is typically subject, verb, and object. The subject is at the forefront and the focus is on the action being performed. Emphasis on the subject. Active voice is often used when you want to emphasize the subject and make it the focus of the sentence. It provides a straightforward and concise way to express actions. Examples of active voice. She wrote the report. On the other hand, in passive voice, action is done to the subject. In passive voice sentences, the subject of the sentence is the one that receives the action rather than performing it. The subject is the receiver of the action. Sentence structure. The structure of a passive voice sentence is typically object, verb, mostly in the past participle form, then by agent. The subject usually follows by to indicate or what performed the action, means the agent. Emphasis on the action. Passive voice is often used when you want to emphasize the action or when you do not know or don't want to specify who performed the action. It is also used when the receiver of the action is more important or deserves greater focus. Examples of passive voice. The report was written by her. Next is the changing tenses from active to passive voice. So we always change the tenses of the active sentences into the passive sentences by applying some rules. For simple present tense, the sentence structure for active voice is subject plus verb plus object. So when we convert this sentence into the passive voice, we always start this sentence with the object part. So here the object is our letter. So this one is the object. Then we use is. It depends upon the object. If the object is singular, we use the is. If object is plural, means object is plural, we use the word are and we use I with am. Then next is the third form of verb, by and subject. Here the subject is she, so she is converted into her. If the subject is he, we can convert it into him. They converted to them. Next is the rules for present continuous. In present continuous, the active voice is subject plus is MR plus verb plus ing plus object. This is the sentence structure of active sentences. For example, she is writing a letter. Here, a letter is the object. She is the subject. So in passive voice, the sentence structure is the object, means a letter. A letter is a singular, we use I. So is being. Being V3. It is the third form of verb of write. Write plus ing. Write, wrote, written. So here we use the third form of verb written by her. So this is the passive voice of present continuous tense. Present perfect. In present perfect, the active voice is subject plus has have plus third form of verb plus object. For example, she has written a letter. This is the object part. This is the verb P3 and this is the subject. So a passive voice sentence structure is object plus has been plus third form of verb plus by plus subject. So this sentence, if we convert this sentence into the passive voice, a letter, which is the object of the active sentence, a letter has been written by her. This is the passive voice of present perfect tense. Simple past. Simple past, the sentence structure of active voice is subject plus V2 plus object. We used here the second form of verb. For example, she wrote a letter. In active voice, the object was V3 by and subject. If the object is singular, we use was. If the subject is plural, we use were. So here, a letter is a singular object. So we start the sentence with a letter and use was written by her. Here is the sentence structure of past continuous or active voices, that is subject plus was verb plus verb first form of verb plus ing plus object. For example, she was writing a letter. In passive voice, it is converted into object plus was or were for plural object, being plus V3 plus by plus subject. For example, a letter was being written by her. Past perfect. The active voice is subject plus had plus V3 plus object. She had written a letter. So the sentence structure for passive voice is object. We start the sentence with object plus had been plus V3 plus by plus subject. A letter had been written by her. Simple future. In simple future, for active voice of our affirmative sentence, we use subject plus will or shall plus first form of verb plus object. For example, she will write a letter. A letter is the object part. And the passive voice sentence structure is object plus will be plus third form of verb plus by plus subject. A letter will be written by her. Future perfect. Future perfect for active voices, that is the sentence structure, subject plus will plus have plus third form of verb plus object. For example, she will have written a letter. And for passive voice, object will have been plus third form of verb plus by plus subject. A letter will have been written by her. The other tenses, for example, for present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, future perfect continuous, and future continuous, there is no passive form of these type of tenses. Thank you. Thanks for watching.